And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the heart of the Inland Empire, right here in sunny Southern California, it's Rober Cardoza Live, where we talk about politics, money, and you. This is the intersection of business and politics, and now here's your host, Rober Cardoza.
And I am Rober Cardoza. You're listening to Rober Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And you know what? Every day I tell you, hey, what a fantastic show we're going to have today. Well, you know what? This is no different than any other day. It's going to be another fantastic show that we're going to have for you today. Lots of good stuff. And on today's show, we're going to talk about what's in the news, and God knows there's a lot of that. We'll talk about new legislation. We're going to talk about the IRS Loses. And then, of course, we'll continue our new segment, the tribute to the late, great Paul Harvey, in the rest of the story. Today's story is a swan song. You're not going to want to miss it. It's really a great story and a surprise at the end, the way all of them are. And then, just before we get to that, we'll be doing a segment with Dr. Wireless, Joel Saltzman. He'll be talking about new wireless technology and a lot of new things starting on February 1st, which is today. So we'll talk about that. And I'm going to give you the insider's guide to slot machines. We'll do that today, and I'll also give you some winning strategies for a Texas Hold'em. You're not going to want to miss it. Well, at 3:02 p.m. Pacific time, it's currently 71 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire. That's the high, but it's on its way down to 47 degrees. So it's going to be, quite pleasant. It's quite pretty outside and really enjoyable. But you know what? Let's talk about the news. And, like I said, there's plenty of it. Right off the top, Trump to the Senate, scrap the rules if needed to confirm Gorsuch. Well, President Donald Trump urged the Senate's Republican leader today to resort to the nuclear option of scrapping long-standing chamber rules, if needed, to confirm Supreme Court nominee Neil Gorsuch, an aggressive opening to what's shaping up as a ferocious clash over the future of the High Court. At the White House, a day after nominating Gorsuch, Trump endorsed a scenario that would involve majority Republicans unilaterally changing Senate rules over the objections of the Democratic minority. It could come into play if Democrats try to block Gorsuch's confirmation with a filibuster, as the liberal base is demanding and would allow the GOP to confirm Gorsuch with a simple majority instead of the 60 votes that's now needed. Addressing GOP Senate leader Mitch McConnell from the White House, Trump said, "If we end up with that gridlock, I would say, if you can, Mitch, go nuclear." He said of Gorsuch that it would be an absolute shame if a man of this quality was caught up in the web. Trump made his comments as Gorsuch traversed Capitol Hill, escorted by Vice President Mike Pence, and winning extravagant praise from Republican senators. Democratic divisions were on display. Minority Leader Chuck Schumer faced intense opposition from his voters, or the base voters, to Trump's nominee, while political risks confronted a half dozen Democratic senators representing red states who are up for re-election next year and may feel pressure to support Gorsuch. You know what? This shouldn't be that kind of an issue. It should be, is the man qualified? Is the man a legal scholar? Can the man interpret the Constitution of the United States? It shouldn't have anything to do with, is he a Republican or a Democrat or an independent or a purple people eater? For Pete's sake, how about doing something that's progressive and good for our country? That's what we should do. Now, I could have had this exact same conversation when it was for Merrick gosh, I've forgotten his last name, and I wish I hadn't. But for Obama's nominee, I just wish that we had had the same conversation. Not that it probably would have made any difference. And the GOP pushes to the two top cabinet picks through the full Senate. Republicans jammed two of President Donald Trump's top cabinet picks through the Senate Finance Committee with no Democrats in the room Wednesday after suspending a rule that would have otherwise barred them from taking a vote. The tactic seemed a warning shot that they might deploy brute political muscle in the upcoming fight over the Supreme Court vacancy. With a near-toxic vapor of decisiveness between the two parties across Capitol Hill, nasty showdowns broke out elsewhere as well. One Senate panel signed off on Trump's choice for Attorney General only after senators exchanged heated words, and another committee postponed a vote on the would-be chief of the Environmental Protection Agency after Democrats refused to show up. Well, busting through a Democrat boycott of the finance panel, all 14 Republicans took advantage of Democrats' absence to temporarily disable a committee, a rule requiring at least one Democrat to be present for votes. They then used two 14-0 roll calls to approve financier Steve Mnuchin for Treasury Secretary and Representative Tom Price, the Republican from Georgia, to be the Health Secretary, ignoring Democrats' demands that the two nominees provide more information about their financial backgrounds. You know what? Isn't it a waste of our time and our money for the people that we're paying to do a job that we've elected them to do? Yeah, this is silly stuff. They're not standing on principle. They're not representing you or me or anybody else. They're representing themselves and their hurt feelings. Well, the United States puts Iran on notice after a missile test. Won't elaborate, though. The United States put Iran on notice today after the Iranian military tested a ballistic missile and allied rebels in Yemen attacked a Saudi naval vessel in the Red Sea, an early manifestation of President Donald Trump's promise of a tougher American approach to the Islamic Republic. Iran is now feeling emboldened, Michael Flynn, Trump's national security advisor, told the reporters, delivering his first public remarks since Trump took office. Flynn didn't elaborate on what actions the United States might take in response to Iran's missile test earlier this week, but he made clear the administration's view that President Barack Obama's strategy of containing Iran's destabilizing behavior while cooperating more closely on nuclear and other matters just wasn't working. The Obama administration failed to respond adequately to Tehran's malign actions, including weapons transfers, support for terrorism, and other violations of international norms, Flynn said. Asked to clarify what Flynn meant by putting Iran on notice, White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer said, "We felt as though their actions were both provocative and in violation." Well, that's just the way it's going to be. I think that President Trump just might think that this is his first test as the chief executive, and maybe he's just not going to put up with this stuff. I think that's a pretty doggone sure bet that he's going to shake everybody up and not allow this kind of BS to start. We're not going to get pushed around anymore, I don't think. Well, you know what? Amid Trump's shakeup, many are wondering what's coming next. Days into the administration that promised to govern by upheaval, Donald Trump's White House has been the target of massive protests, defied reporters who questioned fact-challenged statements, and issued a blur of lightning-rod executive actions. The speed and depth of it all have left many Americans apprehensive, even some who longed for a shake-up or unsettled by a sense of chaos that it has unleashed. We're in a very fragile state right now, said Margaret Johnson of Germantown, Maryland, who runs a small translation business. We don't know what's coming next. The country's divided. There's a lot of fear, and I think we're kind of at a point where things can go any kind of way, and it's really hard to say which way they're going to go. Well, let's see. We want to change. We're getting change, and I think that we got to hope that we're going in the right direction. Now, we're going to take a short break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about the little herd in public. Bannon is quiet in power in the Oval Office. I'm going to discuss that with you a little bit. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this. The Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the Street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 3:13 p.m. Pacific time. Hey, it's still 71 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. It's on the way down to 47 degrees. Later on the show, we'll give you some updates on parts of the other global network that we're broadcasting in. And then also, don't go away, because a little bit later on the show, coming up, I'm going to talk to you about an insider's guide to slot machines. You're not going to want to miss that. You're going to find it really interesting. But right now, we're talking about the news. And here's a little heard in public. Bannon is quiet power in the Oval Office. People are beginning to pay more attention to the man behind the curtain. It is a mark of Steve Bannon's extraordinary sway in the Trump White House that a man who has spoken so little in public over the past 2 weeks is getting so much credit and blame for what's going on. The conservative media executives' fingerprints are on virtually every significant move taken by President Donald Trump, from Trump's sweeping order to suspend the country's refugee program and block visitors from 7 Muslim majority countries to the nomination of Neil Gorsuch to the Supreme Court. Trump raised eyebrows and hackles when he gave Bannon a seat on a powerful National Security Council. Bannon, a shaggy-haired agitator, turned insider, eager to make a lasting mark on Washington, was a strong advocate for Gorsuch, according to a person who spoke with him recently. That person spoke on the condition of anonymity in order to discuss a private conversation. Bannon's early moves to consolidate power haven't come without pushback. In the phone call Monday, Homeland Security Secretary John Kelly and Acting Secretary of State Tom Shannon asked the White House to take a back seat in clearing up confusion caused by the chaotic rollout of the immigration order, according to two U.S. officials who spoke on anonymity because they weren't authorized to speak publicly about internal government discussions. Well, still, the extent of Bannon's influence was understood by Trump's striking decision over the weekend to add his name to the roster of the National Security Council, not typically the province of political advisors. Steve's the main ideological mover of the administration. He's the chief ideological officer, and he has a strong point of view, said Christopher Rudy, the CEO of Newsmax, and a friend of the president. I think the bond is their world view. The 64-year-old Bannon shares Trump's business and media experience, as well as his dramatic flair. He's a fellow disruptor who helped Trump capitalize on the populist anger and frustration that propelled them both to the White House. And you know what? Rarely seen or heard during Trump's campaign, Bannon's now a fixture. If Trump's moving quickly to overthrow the established order, Bannon is the one fomenting rebellion. And the White House Chief of Staff, Reince Priebus, is there to maintain order and focus. Bannon is there to wage war. Wow. Can you imagine? And he's there to wage war. How comfortable does that make you feel? I'm not sure. Not sure at all. Well, the United Kingdom lawmakers back a bill to trigger the European Union's exit talks. Britain moved closer to leaving the European Union today as lawmakers backed a bill authorizing divorce proceedings and kept alive the government's plan to trigger Brexit talks within weeks. The House of Commons decisively backed the bill by 498 votes to 114, sending it for committee scrutiny. The result was a victory for the Conservative government, which had fought in court to avert the vote out of fear Parliament would impede its Brexit plans. Lawmakers also defeated a wrecking amendment proposed by the Scottish National Party that sought to delay Britain's exit talks with the European Union because the British government has not disclosed detailed plans for its negotiations. During 2 days of debate in the House of Commons, many legislators, Eurosceptic and Europhile alike, said that they would back the bill out of the Respect for Voters' June 23rd decision to leave the Union. But you know what? You could see the handwriting on the wall. Theresa May, the new Prime Minister of England or Great Britain, is in the same kind of a situation Donald Trump's in. They want change in Great Britain, and we want change here in the United States. Well, we're getting what we asked for. Now let's hope that it was the right thing. And Israel evacuates the West Bank outpost amid new settlement binge. You know what? Israeli forces uprooted this West Bank outpost today, removing residents and hundreds of their supporters in sometimes violent clashes as they dismantled a community that has become a symbol of Jewish settler defiance. The evacuation, which followed years of legal battles, came amid a flurry of bold new settlement moves by Israel's government, which has been buoyed by the election of President Donald Trump. Thousands of police officers carried out the removal, swearing off against hundreds of protesters, many of them young religious activists who flocked to the windswept hilltop to show their solidarity with residents. Planting themselves inside trailer homes and their community synagogues, the protesters defied police, who carried some away. Protesters chained themselves to heavy objects or linked arms to form a wall against the police, chanting, "Jews don't expel Jews." Dozens of residents reluctantly left their homes without resistance, young children in tow. Wow. Can you imagine? I can't. You know what? I said it before. Can't we just have peace in this world? Well, hopefully, with all the changes that we're hoping that'll take place, that's what'll happen. We'll get some peace in the world. Well, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, I'm going to make you smile. I'm going to talk about the IRS Loses. The first case is a case where the IRS actually conceded that a charity can receive an IRA from an estate. Well, they were arguing it before. Now they're going to allow it. I'll tell you all about it.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Rober Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Rober Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Rober Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
The story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
And I am Rober Cardoza. You're listening to Rober Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at, 3:23 p.m. Pacific time. It's currently, still 71 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. It is beautiful outside. It's on its way down to 43 degrees as a low. But if you're listening to us on our globally syndicated network and you're in New York City, it's 44 degrees. And partly cloudy. And if you're residing in Chicago, Illinois, listening to our show, it's a little bit chillier. It's 35 degrees and partly cloudy. But you know what? What I want to do is I want to put a smile on your face. I want to talk to you about the IRS Loses. Now, the first case is a case that they actually conceded, and you've heard me say it all the time. When they only concede when they're pretty doggone sure that they can't prevail in tax court. And that's where we're at with this case. And this is a charity can receive an IRA from an estate. Well, you know what? They didn't used to allow it. In this case now, an individual died owning an IRA that had his estate as its beneficiary. Now, he will also, his will also named a charity as a residual beneficiary of that estate. The estate's executor then sought to transfer the IRA to the charity to satisfy its claim as a beneficiary. So here's the IRS ruling. The transfer to meet the terms of the will is permitted with no income tax due to the estate, even though ownership transfers of IRAs generally are not permitted. Here's a planning point for you. The transfer of the IRA to the charity saves an income tax bill. Had the IRA been paid to the estate and the charity received other assets, the full IRA payout would have been subject to income tax. That was a smart move, right? Absolutely. How about this? The IRS loses. Rejected settlement is received inadequate review. You know what? A retired couple who owed back taxes made an offer in compromise that the IRS rejected. Then they made another offer in compromise. The IRS rejected that too. So they went to tax court, and this is what the tax court said. The IRS settlement officer rejected the second offer in compromise without considering supporting documents showing that the husband was actually fully disabled. Now, the wife suffered from a heart disease and diabetes. They had an adult dependent child, and they had very limited income. Instead, he simply accepted a revenue officer's unsupported note in their file saying that they could pay the tax bill. Well, this inadequate review entitles the couple to a rehearing. And you know what? Doesn't that just seem like common sense? Doesn't it just seem fair? Shame on the IRS for ever thinking anything else. How about this? The IRS loses. A taxpayer may be anonymous in tax court. Well, sounds strange, right? But not really if you think about it here. Here's the thing. An individual who filed a case in tax court sought permission to remain anonymous and asked for all court records to be sealed. Why? He had close relatives in a foreign country where kidnapping is common, and one had already been kidnapped and held for ransom. He learned that if his finances were published by the court, his family would face greater risk of kidnapping. The IRS objected that a prior case brought by the individual in another court had not been sealed. So sealing the records here was futile. Well, this is what the judge said. No court rule permits anonymous proceedings, but the court will use its discretion to do so here due to the good reason and will seal the records as well. You know what? What did it hurt? Nothing, right? The IRS just wanted to extract its pound of flesh. That's what it hurt. How about this? The IRS loses. An informal claim save a chance for a refund. An estate at first overpaid its estimated tax bill, then filed a return claiming a large refund. The IRS summarily rejected the refund because the estate's return was filed more than 3 years after its due date. Here's the estate's objection. It had informally contacted the IRS several times saying that it expected a large refund but had to delay filing because of 4 more deaths in the family, and an IRS agent had actually responded by sending a card saying that she would wait for the return until a date after it was actually filed. Well, this is what the judge said. A jury could find that the contacts were informal refund claims that extended the refund deadline. So the estate is entitled to the jury trial. Absolutely. Wouldn't expect anything different, for Pete's sake. Well, you heard me talk about being a fly on the wall when the IRS is doing stuff. That's where we're at right now with this segment we call, Inside the IRS, very much like the Twilight Zone. Yeah, now, you know what? These are not tax court cases, but these are, as I've said to you every day for a long time, the most valuable commodity you have is information, and knowing how things are going and what's going on, what ramifications are, that is worth a lot of money, time, and lack of frustration, right? Well, that's what we're talking about here when we talk about inside the IRS. And the first case is, what are the chances of going to jail for tax fraud. Well, according to the most recent IRS statistics, criminal charges were filed against only about 1,036 individuals during the entire tax year last year. Considering the millions of tax returns filed each year, the odds of actually going to jail for cheating the IRS are minuscule. But you do have to be careful. The IRS, under the guidance of the current commissioner, plans to enhance its enforcement programs. More staff is going to be hired to conduct more audits. In past years, money that should have been devoted to increasing audit staff was diverted into computer modernization programs. Yeah, for the same reason, to catch you. Yeah, don't think they're just doing modernization for the sake of it. Well, how about this? There's some good news from the IRS. If you're a member of a limited liability company, an LLC, which is what a limited liability company is an entity created under state law, and it's classified as a partnership for federal income tax purposes unless the members elect corporate tax treatment. Now, owners of an LLC, they're called members, are generally not personally liable for the company's debt, just like shareholders of a corporation. Until recently, there was some confusion at the IRS as to whether members of an LLC could be held personally liable for unpaid payroll taxes. The IRS has issued revenue ruling, which concludes that if the members of the LLC are not liable for the debts of the LLC under state law, then they will not be personally liable for unpaid payroll taxes. But you better be careful. If the LLC distributes cash or property to its members and owes the IRS payroll taxes, the IRS is going to go after those members personally. So don't think you're off scot-free. Now, do not go away. This is going to be exciting when we come back. I'm going to talk to you about an insider's guide to slot machines. You know what? If you ever go to Vegas or Atlantic City or Primm or any of those places, you're going to want to hear this. So don't go away. We'll be right back.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Leinberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson & Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson & Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson & Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 3:35 p.m. Pacific time. It's still 71 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California, on its way down to 43 degrees. And if you're listening to us on our globally syndicated network and you happen to be in Paris, France, well, you're lucky for one thing. And it's 48 degrees and it's partly cloudy. And if you're in Rome, Italy, it's 55 degrees and it's mostly cloudy. But if you're in either one, you're just one lucky son of a gun. That's for doggone sure. But you know what I want to talk to you about right now? I want to get your interest. I want to get your attention. I'm going to talk about Insider's Guide to Slot Machines. You know, Josephine Crawford of Galloway Township, New Jersey, didn't believe the casino employee when he told her that she was just, ready for this? She had just won $10 million. But when the balls kept ringing and the people gathered around her, the 84-year-old former waitress soon realized that the employee at Harrah's Atlantic City was right. Her bet on the Megabucks nickel slot had paid off. The odds are infinitesimal that you'll never duplicate Crawford's success at the slots, but you can still have lots of fun. And who knows, you just might get lucky as she was, especially if you know the ropes in playing slot machines. And besides, playing slot machines requires little or no skill. You can play at your own pace and bet as little or as much as you want. What you need to know? Well, first of all, you need to know what the odds are. Casinos try to take your mind off the odds. They introduce a constant stream of new slot games and offer eye-catching jackpots, such as new cars displayed on turntables and full view of the machines. Regardless of the enticements, the majority of slot machines give an edge of about 1% to 10% to the house, a term used for the owner of the machine, whether it's a casino or a convenience store in Nevada. This means that, let's see, I'm not sure if that's not who we want to have here. Let's get rid of that. Okay. Somebody was trying to break in through our studio line, and we didn't want that to happen, that's for sure. Anyway, what I wanted to say to you was that the odds are infinitesimal there as far as the machines are actually going, especially if you know the ropes of the machines. Besides, playing slot machines require little or no skill, as I said before. Now, the odds, casinos try to make take your mind off the odds and introduce a constant stream of new slot games and offer eye-catching jackpots, such as new cars and those kinds of things. And actually, I got myself offline here a little bit. But they do give an edge of 1 to 10% to the house. That's a term used for the owner of the machine, whether it's a casino or a convenience store in Nevada. Now, this means that the most slot players win back only 90 cents to 99 cents of every dollar that they actually play. Now, these payback rates are calculated over the long run, which can be many thousands of games. So don't be misled when you see a player win several times during an hour's play at a particular machine. They're eventually going to have enough losses to bring the odds back in the house's favor, and you never know when those losses are actually going to occur. The more it costs to play a slot machine, the higher the payback rate usually is. Games that cost $5 or $10, for example, might pay back 99%. While nickel games often return no more than 90%, and penny games pay even less. Now, you got to be careful because slot machines on the internet are becoming very, very popular. Now, my advice to you, stay away from the internet slots. They're illegal to play in the United States, and there's no way of knowing what the payback rate actually is. Also, keep in mind that even the best odds slots aren't as good as the odds with other games such as blackjack that require some skill, concentration, and a good memory for that matter. You know what? Let's talk about improving your chances, though. The best slot machine odds are in Las Vegas, but not on the city's famous strip. Casinos on the Strip, including Bally's, the Mirage, the Stardust, the Tropicana, they don't need player-friendly slots because they enjoy a steady stream of tourists. The payback on 25-cent machines at Strip casinos is about 93% or 94%, and the dollar games at 95 or 96%. Casinos off the Strip rely more on local residents who demand the incentive to better odds to play the slots. That's particularly true in the suburbs of Henderson and North Las Vegas, where the payback at such casinos as Sunset Station, Fiesta Station, and Green Valley Ranch is 1 of 2 percentage points higher than it is on the Strip. In Atlantic City, nickel slots usually have a payback rate of only about 90%, while 91 or 92% is typical for quarter games and 94% for dollar slots. Casinos elsewhere in the country have similar payback rates. Slots are at most casinos pay out bonuses to players who bet 2 or 3 coins at a time. So here's an example for you. If you put 1 quarter in a classic double diamond slot and 3 wild symbols come up, you'll win 1,000 quarters. But if you bet 3 quarters and the same symbols come up, you'll win 15,000 quarters. 15 times the payback for 3 times the bet. Each slot machine has a written explanation of its winning combinations and prize amounts for various sizes of bets. Now, today, video slots are popular, and they have the same payback rates as traditional mechanical machines known as real slots. Some of the worst paybacks are at Nevada's airports and convenience stores, where the payback rate can be as low as 75%. To find slots with the best payback rates, look at one of the gaming publications that regularly report on them. 2 magazines with monthly payback reports are The Casino Player and Strictly Slots. You know what? You can look those numbers up, or go to their websites. Now, in any one casino, all slots that cost the same usually have the same payback rate. This is regardless of the particular game that's featured on the machine. So here's an example for you. Let's just say if you put $1 in a Blazing 7 slot machine, you'll get the same payback rate as you would by putting $1 in a machine that features Tabasco, which is another popular game for you to be thinking about. Well, you know what? Nevertheless, many players believe that some games are luckier than others, and Strictly Slots regularly polls players to find out which games have that reputation. Be aware, however, that these polls are based on anecdotal evidence, and there is no statistical data to back them up. The best game in town? Progressive slots, a game where machines are connected to one another and the jackpot rises as more people play. A huge overhead meter lets players keep track of what the jackpot is, which has reached more than $20 million in some cases. 2 of the most popular wide area progressive slots are Quartermania and Megabucks. While prizes continue to rise, the odds of winning them remain long, very long. Miss Crawford, for instance, was playing the nickel megabuck slot, where the odds of winning the jackpot were about 1 in 40 million. Now, this is important. To win the top prize, you must put the maximum number of coins in the slot, usually 3. If Miss Crawford had been playing with fewer coins, she would have won a few $1,000s instead of $10 million. Well, make the slots more fun. Set a limit on how much to wager during my one session at the machines. Then stop playing while you've reached your limit, or if luck is with you, when you've won more than the amount that you started with. This exercise is self-discipline, makes sense because no matter how long you play the slots, you're likely to lose many more games than you win. By quitting when you're ahead, you'll avoid the risk of a losing streak that takes away your winnings. Remember that the odds always favor the house. If you play long enough, you're certainly to lose more money than you win. Well, the guidelines to establish a spending limit: at 10 spins a minute, it costs about $9 an hour to play a nickel machine with a 3-coin maximum. A quarter machine would cost about $45 an hour, and a dollar machine about $180 an hour. If setting a limit is difficult, remember Miss Crawford. On the day she won, she had set a limit of $40 for the session and was down to her last $5. But if she had gone over her limit on the previous day, she might never have played on the day that she struck it rich. Yeah. Well, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, I'm going to give you some winning strategies for Texas Hold'em. Yeah, are you a card player? You might find out that's a lot of fun. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Rober Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Rober Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Rober Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Rober Cardoza. You're listening to Rober Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 3:48 p.m. Pacific time. Hey, it's still 71 degrees. That's down from 77. It's on its way to 47 degrees. But if you're listening to us on our globally syndicated network and you're in London, England, it's 50 degrees and overcast. And if you happen to be in Vienna, Austria, listen to our show, it's 30 degrees and overcast. Yeah, lots of things going on around the world weather-wise for us. But right now, you know what I want to talk to you about is the winning strategies for Texas Hold'em. You know what? Texas Hold'em, the poker game favored by professional poker players, is rapidly becoming the favorite game of amateurs as well. The rules of Texas Hold'em are simple. Each player receives 2 cards face down. After a round of betting, 3 cards are dealt face up for players to share, called the flop. There's a second round of betting. A 4th card up the turn and a third round of betting, and a final card up, the river. Then one more round of betting. Players make their best 5-card hands out of their 2 pocket cards, and the 5 community cards face up on the table. Now, while the rules are easy to learn, those who know Texas Hold'em only from watching TV tournaments often run into trouble when they try to play. Now, here are some winning strategies. Start tight. When you watch poker on television, the professional seems to play lots of hands. That's because TV coverage shows only key hands. In most home games, the bets are small, so the best strategy to play extremely tight, folding most of the hands that you're dealt. Play only when dealt one of the 10 best 2-card starting hands. That's pairs of 7s or higher, or an ace, king, or ace, queen. When you do get one of these great starting hands, always raise or re-raise. Don't just call, which is matching a bet. Now, there's an exception to this. It's a very conservative player already has made a big bet in front of you, and you have a pair of 7s, 8s, or 9s, you should fold. Playing only strong hands will boost your odds of survival while you learn to perfect your game, and you will earn a reputation for playing only great cards, which will make bluffing much easier later on for you. Now, raise after the flop, even if it didn't help you. The flop is the first 3 community cards turned over. Often, they won't be the cards that you want, but your opponents may not want them either. Rather than not betting on a disappointing flop, make a bet to find out where you're at. Maybe your opponents will fold or call rather than raise, indicating that you might not be in such bad shape after all. If a raise and a re-raise are made before it's your turn to bet, fold if your hand isn't strong. As an example, let's just say that you hold 10-10, and the flop comes queen or king-queen 2. With 2 cards on the table higher than your 10s, someone might have hit a higher pair, putting you at a big disadvantage. Or, then again, maybe no one was holding a king or queen. If you don't bet, someone else likely will, and you'll have to assume that he or she made his hand and fold. If you do make a small bet and no one raises, it may tell you that you're still ahead and may confuse your opponents. Learn to read your opponents. Even after you fold, time at the poker table shouldn't be wasted. Pick 1 or 2 of your opponents and try to guess what cards they're holding based on their behavior and bets. Watch for patterns. Do they raise on big hands? Do they act especially confident when they have nothing? Show play. The occasional big hand. Yeah. You know, I don't know what the heck that was, but that, there we go. Okay. Well, that just about blew my ears out. I don't know how it did to yours, but that's what it did to me anyway. Slow play the occasional big hand. Here's the thing. Once your opponents get used to you betting big hands on great hands, throw them a curve. If you have ace-ace or king-king, call before the flop. You might make the other players believe that your hand is weak and win a bigger pot. Even if you don't, you'll make it harder for them to figure out what you have later. In no limit, or a pot limit hold'em, in which pots can grow large, it might be worth seeing a flop, matching a bet before the flop with a small pair if you can do so cheaply. The odds of hitting 3 of a kind still are against you, but if you do hit, you might be able to build a big enough pot to make it worthwhile. Just keep that in mind. Yeah. Well, you know what? I was going to go to another spot here, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to a break instead. And let me see here. I got something coming up on my. We don't need to do that, and we don't need to do. Let's see what that thing says. Nope, I don't want to do that either. So we'll get out of there. There we go. See, all kinds of stuff are coming up on our board here, and I didn't know what the heck it was. In any event, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll be with our own Dr. Wireless, Joel Saltzman. So don't go away. We'll be right back, folks.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson & Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson & Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson & Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson & Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 3:57 p.m. Pacific time. It's still 71 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. That's down from 77 degrees, and it's on its way to 47 degrees today. So it's beautiful outside. It's really, really nice. If you're listening to us on one of our globally syndicated networks, and you happen to be in Cleveland, Ohio, where it's not near as noisy as it is in Torrance, California, it's actually 34 degrees and overcast. And if you happen to be in Torrance with our own Dr. Wireless, it is 64 degrees and partly cloudy while I'm choking on this thing. In any event, Joel, you're on the air.
Hey, Robert, how are you?
I am terrific. I had some saliva or something go down the wrong tube here in the middle of this thing. I started choking. You ever you're talking or you're choking and you're trying to keep control of it, and you just know you're going to lose it and you can't. And it's just you just give up, right?
You did a great job, though, I have to say.
Man, so listen, I got your email today and lots of stuff going on.
Some amazing stuff going on. First of all, do I sound okay today? I'm working off my voice over IP cloud phone, and I haven't set up my quality of service yet, so I'm not sure.
You sound like you're in the studio with me.
Excellent.
Yeah, it is. It's really a great sound.
Excellent. I'm very pleased so far with this system. It's been pretty amazing.
Well, you know what? I went online. I actually went to your website, and I clicked on that system, and it is an amazing system. I actually went through all the videos.
Oh, cool! Well, you saw the screen share thing is one of my favorites.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just a phenomenal. For those listeners that are listening here, you need to go to Dr. Wireless's website at drwireless.com and
www.drwireless.com.
Right. And there's a little box there for you to click, and the box says, "What does that box say?" I forgot what it says.
Well, I know that I can't recall.
It's something central.
About cloud phones?
Ring Central, I think it says.
Yeah, I think so. Let me see. I just changed the front page. So let me just make sure that's still up. But I believe, yes. On the front page. Well, it says Ring Central Certified Communications Experts. If you click that, or you can go to the drop-down menu where it says Doctors Cloud Services and click Ring Central. But either way, that does put you on their page, and it explains what is a cloud phone system.
Oh, yeah.
And how...
It's fantastic.
It's fascinating.
And I would certainly suggest that people go to their desktop to watch this. You want the bigger screen if you can do that. If you can pick it up on your TV, if you're enabled on your TV, or pick it up on your desktop screen.
Exactly.
Or the biggest screen that you happen to have available. It's a phenomenal video, and they actually have users doing testimonials on that video right where they're at, giving you great tips about how they use this stuff.
Yeah, I think the fascinating thing is this. I mean, we all know what a plain old telephone system is. We call them POT systems, and they basically do voice. And in the old days, you had the private branch exchange, the PBX, and you had to pay expensive, service maintenance fees and what have you to make sure that your phone system didn't go down. And the beauty of this cloud system is you're transferring maintenance. So instead of handling this and looking at it as a product in your office, it becomes a service that somebody else is responsible for maintaining. So you don't need to pay extra for the service contracts on the equipment because the equipment is hosted and maintained elsewhere. It's not your issue. So you have a desk phone. You can have a soft phone in your computer or your iPhone. It's fantastic. So you're not just doing voice. What this does is it allows you to take one phone number and give out one phone number to people, and those people can call you on that phone number. They can send a fax to that phone number. They can send an SMS to that phone number. It's an office phone number. You can get SMSs like a cell phone. You can do video conferencing like you would FaceTime or Skype on these phones, and you can share with the cheap plan, what we call the office plan. Up to 4 people can share their screen simultaneously. So if you're doing webinars, it's fantastic. If you want to service somebody's computer, you can take control of their computer. It's workforce collaboration is unbelievable. It's a contact center. It's a developer platform. It's a global office, and your phone system moves wherever you move. And Robert, what I like about this, how many times do you have somebody who would move offices?
Oh, yeah.
And it was a nightmare because you had to call the phone company. You had to schedule expensive rewiring installations. With this system, you move into an office, you plug in an Ethernet cable, you're good to go.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable.
It's just got everything you could want, including two-way fax. It's just unbelievable.
Not to mention, it integrates with Outlook. It integrates with Oracle, Zendesk, Box, Google, Salesforce, everything. So, and here's the amazing thing. This sounds like it'd be 10 times more expensive than your just plain phone system. In many cases, it costs less money.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And
it's crazy. I'm paying $27.99 per line for 2 lines. for all of this functionality. It's nuts.
Well, you know what? In the I was going to say tutorial, but it's actually in one of the testimonials that was there. There was this gentleman who the electricity went out, and he didn't have access to the internet or anything else. He unplugged his phone, went down the street, plugged it back into the internet, and his business was got a hiccup of about 5 minutes.
Exactly. And you could even avoid that hiccup because if you set up your cell phones to ring sequentially, what will happen is if you don't answer your office phone in X amount of rings, you can set it to go to your cell phone. The beauty of this is, and that's funny you mentioned that because I had a client, when I first got involved with this company before I knew enough to be dangerous, I actually walked out of a client's office because his assistant told me that their internet service in the office goes down all the time, and they do $6,000 worth of business a day out of that office, and they can't afford for their phone system to go down. And I said, okay, bad solution for you. And then I found out it doesn't matter whether your internet goes down because this is in the cloud. Your system isn't going down if your local internet service goes down. Everything's still functioning. You just need to plug in, as you mentioned, to a place that does have a live internet service, or you can use your cell phone, and take your calls on your cell phone until it goes back up.
Yeah.
It is fantastic that you really can't go down because it's in the cloud. And
it's inexpensive. It really is inexpensive. It's unbelievably inexpensive. You know what?
I was shocked.
Oh, yeah. When I was actively in business, I don't even want to tell you how much my phone bill was. It was just unbelievable. But we had something like 8 or 9 lines going in, and the maintenance and all the troubles and the things that were going on. I wish this existed then. This would have been phenomenal, just phenomenal.
Oh, I couldn't agree more.
And would have saved me a fortune. It's interesting, Joel. I would think if most businesses have phone bills the way I did, your phone bill is going to be running you somewhere between $1,500, $2,000 a month is what it was running, and sometimes more depending if I was doing a lot of overseas stuff. The truth is that a system like this, you just cut that phone bill down to almost nothing. You can save
a couple $100.
Yeah, you can save,
for 8 lines.
Yeah, you can save $15,000, $20,000 a year on your phone bill.
Not only that, you become more efficient because your level of collaboration with your sales team, everybody in the office. I mean, we have a feature called Presence, where I'm looking at my Polycom phone right now, and it will show green for everybody that's available, and red for everybody who's not. Now, I don't have a massive office with 12 other coworkers in here, but if I did, and wanted to transfer my phone calls, if I was going to step out, I can set this up to see who's available, and there's just so much functionality that makes companies more efficient. And the most important thing here, being efficient is important, but one of the things people overlook, and we talked about this last week, perception. If somebody mistakes Dr. Wireless for a Fortune 500 company because I use the same voice answering system with auto attendant that they do, it just makes me look bigger than maybe I am, and more successful than maybe I am. So this is a wonderful thing for companies that want to look successful.
The big phrase here is you sell the sizzle, not the steak. That same system that you're talking about, you can either record your own greeting or have a professional record the greeting for you, or use one of their pre-set greetings that are there. You can have music on hold. You can have your own commercial for people to hear while they're on hold waiting for you to grab a line.
Absolutely. It's unbelievable. So, you can be selling people stuff while they're on hold. I had my daughter, who should be a voice over IP, recording expert, because she's got such a great voice. I don't know if you've tried calling my system yet, but I had her record all the recordings instead of using the default recordings, which are fine, but she kind of personalized them, and they're really terrific.
Yeah.
So I couldn't be more happy with this system. I told you I was getting ready to ditch my office phone number because 98% of my clients call me on my cell. And it's only people trying to sell me stuff who call my my office. But because this system is so robust, I thought that I really need to use it. And I'm more efficient with my vendors now, and I can monitor all the accounts I'm setting up. I'm the super administrator, so if they have a question or problem or issue, they can contact me. I can log into their system on the back end and make changes. So if your system went out on you, let's say your IP provider went out, you could contact me, and I could go in there and have this automatically call forward to your cell phone or make any changes you wanted. So you're never down.
Yeah, it just gives you accessibility like you've never had before. And not only that, you can actually set up priorities. Everybody has priority clients. It's just the way it is. 20% of your clients produce about 80% of your revenue. That 20%, you want to make sure they can always get through to you. In this system, you can set them up on a priority so that they can always get through to you.
That's true. You've really boned up on this and done your homework. I'm impressed.
I was afraid you were going to ask me questions.
Well, I don't need to. You answered them before I could ask them.
All right.
So anyhow, I represent multiple. We're your audience probably figured it out. We're talking about Ring Central, which happens to be a wonderful solution. I handle 3 or 4 solutions like Ring Central, some enterprise, some host everything, not just voice. But Ring Central happens to be a terrific value. Anybody who wants more information on that can get it on our site or contact me. I'd be more than happy to give a presentation, but I couldn't be more happy with this system and the value that it's providing.
Now, how long have you been up and running with it, Joel?
Well, I've only been up for a week, and my port is supposed to go through tomorrow or the next day. I don't remember if it was the 2nd or the 3rd. So I'm working. And the way this works is similar to T-Mobile. When we send out T-Mobile phones, we send them out with temporary phone numbers. Mm-hmm. And once the port goes through, which they say takes 24 hours, but it takes about 7 to 10 minutes for me normally, then you're up and running with your regular number. This is similar, except instead of 7 to 10 minutes, it's 7 to 10 days. So it's shipped out with temp numbers. You can play with the system, with the temp numbers. And once the port goes through, your office numbers become the temp numbers.
Automatically.
Yes. So easy stuff. Works very well. It gives people a chance to acclimate. It's totally seamless. Nobody's knocked off the air. And we train people. We set this stuff up so they don't really need to do anything. And, we can set up their directories and their recordings and what have you. But it's very simple. It's all web-based. You go on. It's pretty... It's kind of a flow chart. It's pretty easy to understand, but again, we're willing to do this, and Ring Central also will offer free support too.
Well, it doesn't get much better than that, and you know what? What people need to know is they can get started for less than $30 on this thing. This is unbelievable.
It is nuts. Yeah. It is nuts. And a lot of people don't even buy, you don't need to really even buy the desktop phone system. Some people just use the soft phones in their desktop computer and their laptop computer and their iPhones. Yeah. So you can dial out like a cell phone, like a landline phone on your cell phone or computer if you've got a microphone and a speaker. So lots of versatility with this. But enough of this. We got crazy stuff going on.
Well, tell me all about it.
Have you heard our dear friend, I would call him president-elect, but he's no longer, he's president. Yeah. President Trump has fired, he didn't fire him, he just let him go, Tom Wheeler. I don't know if you remember that name. He was the president of the FCC. And he was a good guy. He used to be the president of the CTIA, the Cellular Telephone Industry Association, and he was an advocate of the consumers. Even though he worked for the carriers at one point on this committee, he was very, very good for us consumers. Unfortunately, he's out. President Trump appointed a new gentleman by the name of Ajit Pai, and this guy is basically a Trump appointee, and he is all about cable companies and anti-consumer. So this is not good. Not good. And one of the issues was Wheeler had put put through a declaration that was demanding that the cable companies open up their boxes to everybody. And basically they were trying to get the FCC was trying to get the cable companies to require the pay TV operators to unlock their set-top boxes and allow third companies to build their own boxes. The new FCC chairman removed this proposal. So we're back to the status quo with the cable TV companies. This guy is pro-mergers. He's pro-big companies. He's opposing Wheeler's net neutrality push, and it's not a good thing for consumers the way I see it. Well, I hope I'm wrong. But
it sounds like he is against competition, against fair competition. Because if you're pro big merger, you're against big competition, which means that the prices now are not going to be as sustainable to hold them at a lower level, and they're worried about bottom line and return on investment for investors as opposed to servicing the user. And that's you're right. That's not a good thing.
Yeah, when you favor the stockholders and at the expense of the subscribers, it's never a good thing. And that's been my beef with one of those big carriers that with 3 letters. It starts with A and ends with T. But I don't want to mention any names or name any names.
Okay. There's not an aspirant in there, is there?
Now, how about this one? You know how I talk about, Robert, how, you're taking a risk when you're buying. I love these Chinese Android devices, and they're such a good value, but you're definitely taking some risks. One of which was these phones were sending information back to China. But the latest problem, and this is a brand I like, we've talked about OnePlus. There's also a very big company called Meizu, which is one of the bigger manufacturers in China. They make great devices, but you really have to be careful. And what happened is both of these companies just got busted. You know what Volkswagen did recently, what they got busted for?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, well, these folks did a similar scenario with their cell phones. Yeah. What they did is they tweaked their cell phone processors, so when they were being bench tested, they sensed that they were running benchmark tests, and they artificially boosted the CPU performance. So in other words, these devices were performing better than they perform. They were fooling the benchmark tests, and giving false readings as if the processors were more powerful than they really were.
Yeah, so they were rigged. Yeah, an artificial enhancement of the results, right?
Exactly, and they got caught, both of these companies.
Good.
So it's good to see this happen because I'm just so fed up with all of it. Here's another one. Hackers steal 2.5 million PlayStation and Xbox players' details. So another major breach. It's just crazy. You really have to be careful when you sign up for stuff because you just never know who's going to get hacked these days.
Yeah. Well,
there's another one.
Well, before you do that, okay. we got 30 seconds. You can do that, or we can give out some contact information. But when we come back, we can do either one.
We'll give out the contact information. Okay. Everything we're talking about today is on the drwireless.com/blog website. It's on our Facebook /drwireless page, and some of it's on my personal page, Joel Saltzman. Anybody can friend me if they want that info. Anyhow, Joel at drwireless.com for people who want a little more information.
And we're talking to our own Dr. Wireless. We'll be right back with more information you're not going to want to miss after these brief messages. Do not go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Rober Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Rober Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Rober Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Rober Cardoza. You're listening to Rober Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:22 p.m. Pacific time. Hey, it's still 71 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire, but it's going to get colder. It's going to go down to 46 degrees. And if you happen to be listening to us on our globally syndicated network and you're in Madrid, Spain, well, it's 48 degrees and partly cloudy. And if you're in Tokyo, Japan, listening to this magnificent Dr. Wireless we have on with us, well, then it's 36 degrees and it is clear. Hey, Joel, you got the microphone.
Robert, you didn't ask me when we opened today whether I got my feet wet, and I specifically did, so I could say yes when you asked me.
You know, the one time I don't ask, go figure, right? The one time that I go off of my regular script and I say something different, I get caught.
What can you do?
Yeah.
Anyhow, I do have some interesting stuff. We did not talk about wireless today, and so I thought maybe I better talk a few minutes about that. T-Mobile got some good news. They were number 1 in the Nielsen ratings, and which is no surprise. They're everybody's favorite wireless carrier. The results are in. 30,000 participants, did this survey, and They rate above and beyond everybody else for best customer satisfaction, best customer service, and the network that people are most likely to recommend to their friends. So they did very well. Now, it's not all roses for them. They also had some issues. I don't know if we talked about it last week, but there was some cramming and other unethical activities that some of the T-Mobile store employees were doing. They were pushed very hard, I guess, for results. So not all good, but good reason to go with an independent agent like myself, I suppose.
Yeah. Just
to throw myself a plug. There is some really cool T-Mobile stuff going on. They just made an announcement this morning, the new promotion for February. And what they're doing is this. On their one-rate plans last month, they decided to eat all the fees and taxes, which I think is fantastic. Yeah. That was the only thing I couldn't tell people. If you said that, if I told you that your bill for 4 people, unlimited service, is $160, that's great. But if you said, well, Joel, what's it going to be with all the FCC taxes and carrier recovery fees and city taxes and state taxes? I couldn't tell you. It's usually 10 to 15% of your bill. Well, T-Mobile's eating that, so it's all academic. This month, it gets even better. They are also going to eat the cost on any smartphone their users should purchase. So people upgrading or new subscribers, you can purchase a T-Mobile phone on their 24-month zero-interest finance program. For example, an iPhone 7 32 gig is normally $650. It's $27.09 on this program times 24 months, and there's no tax. They're going to eat the tax on all smartphones this month.
Wow.
So great time to get a smartphone and move to T-Mobile. It just keeps getting better. We talked about T-Mobile Tuesday many times. Last night, my wife and I both used our T-Mobile Tuesday benefits to go to Panda Express, and we each got a sweet chicken fired. Forgot what the entry is, but they were promoting. But I ate hers because she doesn't like the sweet. It was delicious. So. And you get Lyft rides, movies, all kinds of stuff. So T-Mobile doing a good job with that. They also have a free Android they're offering this month, the Galaxy ON5, which is a mediocre model, but good kid phone for free. Mm-hmm. Not a bad deal. So that's what T-Mobile. Verizon is extending their promotion on that wonderful deal, 12 gig plus 14 gigs for $80 for one user, and each user that adds on gets an extra 2 gig. So it's a pretty amazing deal. And let's see, what else do we have exciting going on here? Sprint, unfortunately, rated last in customer satisfaction, which is no huge surprise to us. Have you heard about what happened with Apple? They came out with a brand new display to replace their Thunderbird monitors.
No.
They're made by LG. It's a 5K display, up from 4K. And, when you sell these products, there's always some issues you really don't know about. And one of the issues that Apple found out is that these things need to be placed at least 6.5 feet away from the wireless router, or the display flickers.
Oh, really? Why is that?
Well, it's just a matter of interference. I guess if they're within a couple meters, within 2 meters of a wireless router, the display's flickering, and the monitor goes black and becomes unusable. So it's probably a matter of, my guess is Apple probably took a shortcut and didn't probably should have got some electromagnetic shielding.
Yeah.
That they didn't use, and maybe that's the problem. So we'll see if there's any other issues, but that's certainly worth knowing. You spend that kind of money for a monitor and have problems, you want to know why. So anybody with one of these new monitors, try moving your router 6.5 feet away from that monitor if you want optimal performance. How about this? New York, City of New York sues Charter over slow internet speeds.
Oh, really?
Can you hear about that?
No.
New York's trying to hold them accountable for making promises that they didn't keep.
Well,
so apparently they're offering terrible broadband speeds, and the subscribers who are paying for premium plans of 100 megabits per second and beyond are getting 70% slower than advertised.
Wow. Somebody needs to pay the piper for that.
Well, you can't advertise something and not deliver.
Yeah.
So that's been a big issue. Samsung's got something going on. We're not sure what, but the Mobile World Congress is in Barcelona, February 26th. That's the big show, the big worldwide global show. It used to be the Cellular Telephone Industry Association shows. It used to be the Consumer Electronics shows, all the Las Vegas shows. Now it's this Barcelona Mobile World Congress that Apple never shows, but all the other big players do. And Samsung is going to be releasing something. They're not saying what. I don't think it's going to be the Galaxy 8 model, just because I think that they had issues with the Note 7, and I think that may have backed them up a little bit. So we don't know what, but something is coming. We'll have to see.
Well, you know what? I've said it before. I'm just waiting for the iOS, or not iOS, but for my iPhone 8 to come out.
You and a lot of people. And we're hearing more rumors about that. At this point, I'm not even going to. 1 week it's got something, the next week it doesn't. It's a little bit tricky to guess. Now I'm hearing there isn't going to be wireless charging, as we heard last week there was. So time will tell. It's really hard to say.
One of the things that my grandson got one of these. See if I can't remember the name of it. These gizmo watches, and it's a security thing. He's like 8 years old, right? And this watch lets you know where he's at, and he can actually talk to a half a dozen different people that he can actually talk to on a cell phone basis, and he can text from it and do that kind of stuff. But when he turns it on, because it's a security thing, anybody that is tied into him, it goes to them. So it goes to my iPhone, and I'll get this notice that he turned the thing on. But boy, I'll tell you what, when he turns that thing on, my battery goes nuts.
Wow.
So apparently it's just running in the background, and it uses a lot of juice.
Interesting. Amazon, by the way, before I forget, is having a huge sale right now on iPhone 6S and 6S Plus cases right now. So very good time for people that have these models and want to get a new, fresh case. There's all kinds of great deals.
You know what? It's
I know you're a Mophie man.
Yeah, and that's the scary part. What happens? We were talking about the iPhone 8 coming out and all that, and when it does come out, I'm going to want to get Mophie for it, but Mophie won't have anything for it yet.
No, that's always a problem.
Yeah, and then because I'll tell you what, I can't get through a day without Mophie because I'm deep into it. By the time the end of my day comes around, I'm down to about somewhere between 13 and 20% battery left.
I am without a Mophie case. That's where I am on my 6S Plus.
Yeah. So
I don't have a Mophie for it. My wife has one for the 6, but I haven't gotten one. I haven't really needed one. I have a charger in my car, a charger in my office, a charger in my bedroom, and the battery's pretty decent on this thing, unless I'm streaming a lot of music.
Yeah, and that's why you have that, because I don't charge it. I don't charge it at all. Now, I do have a charger in the car, but I don't use it.
Do you use GPS in the car?
Well, but I got GPS in the car.
Okay, good, because a lot of people don't realize this, but when you've got a cell phone on and it's using cellular frequencies, it's using Bluetooth, it's using Wi-Fi, it's using GPS, that just sucks the life out of these phones, and that's why these manufacturers tell people, turn off Bluetooth if you're not using it, turn off Wi-Fi if you're not using it. There's so many. You turn down your screen brightness. That's the other thing that kills a battery quicker than anything. If you turn your brightness up all the way, it's great. You can see your screen, but you are killing your battery life prematurely. Yeah. And then the other tip that we gave that I should give again to your users, anytime somebody finds that their phone is dead and they need a quick pop, if you've got an iPhone or you have an Android, turn off, put the airplane mode on. And that shuts down everything.
You know what?
Plug it into the charger for 10 minutes. You'll be shocked at how much charge you'll get.
You know what? You said that here 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I actually tried it just for the hell of it. And I was absolutely stunned. It charged up so much faster.
It turbocharges.
Oh, yeah. It was unbelievable. Of course, there's a part of you that becomes paranoid, right? Because you turn your phone off.
Well, yeah, that's the only problem. If somebody's looking to reach you, they're not going to reach you. But I'll give you a good analogy for that. If you had a big bucket, think of a big bucket with a hole in the bottom, and you have a hose, and you're filling that bucket. But as the bucket's filling, it's draining just as quickly.
Yeah.
That's the problem when you're charging a phone and the phone is on and all the radios are on and everything is functioning. It's charging, but it's charging so slowly because it's losing charge as fast as it's gaining charge. So by turning on, I should say, airport mode, you're sealing that hole in the bucket. So it's not leaking, and that way, when you're filling it up, it's filling up much higher, more rapidly, more quicker.
Yeah,
quicker. That sounds like something bigly.
That's your dog. That's
charging bigly.
Yeah, it's more better. Anyway, it's more better. You know, one of the things I noticed too is when I usually turn my phone off at night when I'm recharging it, but when you go to stick the charger into it, it turns itself back on.
That's true. That's a good point. But, well, I don't know. You can turn it off, or you can put it on airplane mode to prevent it. That's probably the best solution. Yeah.
Not that it makes any difference, because when I actually charge it downstairs and I'm upstairs, anybody wants to reach me during my sleeping hours, because I've got the sleep thing on it anyway. But when they want to reach me during my sleeping hours, they better call me on my home phone, or I'm not going to even know you're calling.
My daughter enabled an interesting feature on my phone. I don't even know what it's called. Perhaps you have it enabled on yours. Mm-hmm. But what it does, at 10:45, it gives me like a little chime that tells me it's time to go to bed.
Oh, yeah, I've got that.
Do you have that going?
I don't have it.
And then
I don't have it going.
Enable it. It's amazing. Because here's what I like about it. I don't need to be told when to go to bed.
Yeah.
But what I like about it is when it wakes me up at 6 a.m., it has different alarm settings than the regular alarm. Uh-huh. So what happens is I have these birds. It sounds like I'm at my buddy's house in southern Costa Rica, where I hear all these birds chirping, and it starts really low, and it gradually gets a little louder, and it's like the most mellow way to wake up instead of to some crass alarm. But if you haven't tried this feature, it's fantastic.
Well, unfortunately, I'm old. I used to get up at the same time, no matter what time zone or what country I happen to be in, and I got so accustomed to it that I haven't set an alarm clock, I'll bet you, in 40 years. And my body just says, "Hey, it's time to get up." This morning or last night, I went to bed kind of late. Right at 2:00 this morning, I woke up and I was bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Came downstairs, started reading a book. About 4:00, I started getting tired. I went back to bed, and at 6:00, bam, I'm back up again. So, it's just, I don't need something to wake me up, and I need something to put me to sleep.
Yeah. Well, technically, I don't need anything to wake me up. I do the same. I wake up automatically. My daughter said it's there. I'm usually up before the thing goes off, but I just thought it was a wonderful feature because it's not obnoxious. And I don't know what it's called. I'll have to go in there and look.
Yeah,
she just did it, and I just noticed, but
yeah, it is really a nice deal. But you know what? You ever notice the things that you never do? Like I wake up automatically. You're saying you wake up automatically. But if you've got an early flight to catch, you do set something, don't you?
I absolutely do. You don't want to take a chance. So one time you sleep in.
Yeah.
You oversleep.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
It can happen.
Oh, yeah. Hey, my friend, we're out of time. So why don't you go ahead and give out that contact information one more time?
I hate when that happens. Well, everything we spoke about today can be found on our website, www.drwireless.com. We have a lot of it on our Facebook page, Facebook/DR Wireless. And anybody with any questions regarding any of this content, or anybody who needs a little bit of help regarding wireless, can contact me at joel@drwireless.com. Back to you, Robert.
Okay, hey Joel, keep your feet dry tonight. Tomorrow probably going to be your last day before the rain starts up again, so we'll go out and get them wet tomorrow. Stay safe, stay happy, keep everybody around you glad that they are, and we'll talk to you next Wednesday. How's that?
Thank you, Robert. Have a great weekend.
All right, you too. And the rest of you folks, stay tuned, because when we come back, we'll be talking about the birthdays for the day, the secret daily teaching for your life, interesting but useless facts, and then, of course, after that, we'll do our tribute to the late, great Paul Harvey and the rest of the story. As I said, today's story is going to be a swan song. You're not going to want to miss it. We'll be right back. Don't go away, folks.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:42 p.m. Pacific time. Hey, it's starting to go down. It's 68 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. It's on its way down to 47 degrees. And if you're listening to us on our globally syndicated network and you're in Sydney, Australia, it's 73 degrees and partly cloudy. And if you happen to be in Auckland, New Zealand, well, it's 75 degrees and mostly cloudy. But right now, I want to talk to you about having a positive mental attitude. Yeah, it's the lifestyle tip of the day for you. You decide if you're going to be happy, sad, rich, poor, a success, or a failure. You decide if the people around you, how they're going to be feeling. You do it every morning when you look in the mirror and you say, wow, I'm going to have a fantastic, productive, profitable day today, and I'm going to make everybody around me glad that they are. You know what? The lesson for today is the reason visualization is so powerful is that as you create pictures in your mind of seeing yourself with what it is that you want, you're generating thoughts and feelings of having it right now. Now, visualization is simply powerfully focused thought in pictures, and it causes equally powerful feelings. When you're visualizing, you're emitting that powerful frequency out into the universe. The law of attraction will take hold of that powerful signal and return those pictures back to you just as you saw them in your mind. You're controlling everything. Absolutely everything. Well, you know what today is? It's Wednesday. It's February the 1st. It's a new day of the year, new month of the year, and it is somebody's birthday. Yes, sir. And we've got some terrific birthdays today, so we might as well not keep you in suspense. Might as well go right to them. The first one for today, February the 1st, is a fellow that was born in 1931. He died in 2007. He was the very first president of the Russian Federation, serving from 1991 to 1999. Happy birthday, Boris Yeltsin. And it's also the birthday of Rick James, yeah, and here's somebody born 1986, a TV star known for being featured in the MTV reality series Laguna Beach, and for her spin-off show, The Hills. Happy birthday, Lauren Conrad. Yeah. Well, I know you're just wondering, biting at the bit to know what was going on today in history. Well, sit down in your comfortable chair, get yourself a cup of coffee or a cocktail, and let me give it to you. February the 1st, 1865. President Abraham Lincoln signs the 13th Amendment to the United States Constitution. And in 1996, the Communications Decency Act is passed by the United States Congress. And then finally, on February 1st, 2003, Space Shuttle Columbia disintegrates during re-entry into the Earth's atmosphere, killing all 7 astronauts aboard. Happened this day. Well, I can tell you that a quote for today comes from Josh Billings, and Josh says, "When a man comes to me for advice, I find out the kind of advice that he wants, and I give it to him." Yeah. You know what? Because they don't want to hear any other kind of advice, right? Not usually, I'll tell you that. Well, you know what? It's time for us to talk to you about those interesting but useless facts. You know what? You got to say to yourself, the people that actually look this stuff up, what on earth are they doing for a living? I haven't got a clue. Anyway, did you know that Hitler, matter of fact, this is one that my grandson Joey, I'll bet you any money, my genius grandson Joey already knows all about this. Hitler was claustrophobic. They had to install a mirror in an elevator just to keep him from being scared. The mirror was to expand the space that was there, what was actually going on. How about this? Did you know that all the chemicals in the human body combined are estimated to be worth about 6.25 euros? Yeah, that's about $8. That's what your body's worth. Give that a thought, depending on what the rate of exchange happens to be at the time. Did you know that state with the highest percentage of people, did you know which one it is? Yeah, who walk to work, that is. Yeah, now it changes. Well, it's Alaska. Yeah. Can you imagine? How about this? And did you know that Mickey Mouse was the very first non-human to win an Oscar? Yeah, there's a thought. There's a thought. Did you know that you take over 23,000 breaths every day? And you generally don't even give a thought to it, do you? Yep. Think about the heartbeat. Think about if you weren't breathing or if your heart wasn't beating. You don't think about either one of them, I'll bet. You know, the Cats closed at the Winter Garden Theater on the 25th of June, 2000. longest running theater production. And I must have seen it. My wife and I must have seen Cats, I want to say at least a half a dozen times. At least a half a dozen times. And just so you'll know, and I fell asleep at every single performance. Every one. I just, for some reason, could not stay awake during that thing. Not that it was bad. Just, the music was beautiful. They just lulled me to sleep. Did you know that more people are afraid of open spaces, that's kinophobia, than of tight spaces, which is claustrophobia? We were just talking about Hilt earlier, right? Yeah. Try this one on for size. If you put a bee in a film canister for 2 hours, it'll go blind and leave behind its weight in honey. Now that is interesting. Now, if I told that to my grandson Johnny, he'd be looking for bees to put into a film canister, and he'd borrow the film canister from his big brother Joey and see if this thing was really true. I might even mention it to him, put it to a test. Well, did you know that turtles are reptiles? Yep, that would be a fact. And giant flying foxes, which are a type of bat that live in Indonesia, have wingspans of nearly 6 feet. Man, that is big. That's big. Well, let me leave you with this one. Victor Mills, an inventor with Procter & Gamble, invented the disposable diaper in 1961 because he didn't want to deal with his daughter's soiled, crapped diapers. You know them as Pampers. Yeah. Boy, did he invent something, right? Yeah. Did he invent something right? Absolutely. Well, listen, don't go away, because when we come back, we're going to be doing our tribute to the late, great Paul Harvey and the rest of the story. And as I said, today's story is a swan song. You're not going to want to miss this.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Rober Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Rober Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Rober Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful and visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And it's time for our tribute to the late, great Paul Harvey and the rest of the story. Yes, sir. You know what the American Broadcasting Company calls him? The biggest voice in America. He's Paul Harvey, and each week millions of listeners, viewers, and readers would await his unraveling of the mysteries of events in the lives of people, past and present. Heard on over 1,400 radio stations, seen on over 110 television stations, and read in over 300 newspapers. The rest of the story has for years been exploring the byways of history with revelations that are intriguing, amusing, and surprising. Well, you know what? As I mentioned, today's story, a swan song. You know what? Her friends remember her as a warm, joyful, and vibrant person, as a woman of everlasting youth who loved amusement parks and French fries and foxtrots and card games. The rest of the world remembers her as the ethereal maiden in the filmy white costume, as flashing dark eyes and incomparable grace, as the greatest ballerina of all time, Anna Pavlova. She lived and loved life, that is true, but so profound was her sense of professional responsibility that she never missed a performance. Not once. It is her last performance that concerns us here, in the role for which she is best remembered, the Dying Swan. Although we may know little of Anna's world, the world of ballet will always remember the rest of the story. In 1 year alone, Anna gave 238 performances in 35 weeks, playing 77 towns and cities across the United States. As far as anyone can remember, superstar ballerina Anna Pavlova never missed a performance. In the course of her career, she traveled 500,000 miles, dancing more before millions of people. This before commercial air travel, by the way. She performed everywhere so that all might enjoy her art. In Jackson, Mississippi, she danced in what amounted to an old garage. There was no stage, only a shallow platform. There were not even dressing rooms, just a few curtains hung in a cellar full of rats. And Anna performed there, as everywhere, cheerfully. It was as though life itself was so wonderful that there was no room for complaining. Now, in Montgomery, Alabama, there was a hole in the roof so large that rain poured in, flooding the stage, drenching the costumes and the scenery as well. Her only remark, after pirouetting through the puddles, was that the dancers needed no stage lights because of the lightning outside. No, the great Anna Pavlova never missed a performance. It is perhaps because of her perfect record that her ardent admirers never forgot Anna's last scheduled appearance. It was at the Apollo Theater in London, in the role that she made famous, the Dying Swan. In that particular role, Anna was known to have surpassed her incredible technique, to have touched her audiences with the compassion of her interpretation. It was in her atmosphere of unusual excitement that her fans awaited this farewell performance. On the appointed evening, at the appointed time, the orchestra began, the curtain rose, the spotlight flashed, and the audience rose to its feet. All through the performance, they stood gazing into the wondering pool of light. When it was finished, A raging, thunderous ovation of joy went up, and on, even though throughout the performance the spotlight had brushed an empty stage. For this was the ultimate tribute to the indelible artistry of Anna Pavlova. Even in her absence, her audience could see her. She only recently fallen ill with pneumonia, could thrill them all, even though she was now 2 days dead. And now you know the rest of that story. Isn't that something? Well, tomorrow's story, you're not going to want to miss it either. It's a shocker. Dreams of Ivy Island. I'm going to tell you all about that. No question about it. Well, also on tomorrow's show, we're going to have our own Sean LaFave. Sean and I are going to be talking about healthcare. We're going to continue the tribute to the late, great Paul Harvey, as I've just announced, the rest of the story. And then I'm going to ask you to please tell all of your friends about our show here on the RLC Broadcasting Network. They'll be glad you did. You'll be glad you did. And I promise you, I'll not only be glad, but I'll be thankful that you did too.
That's our show for today. Beginning today, treat everyone you meet as if they were going to be dead by midnight. Extend them all the care, kindness, and understanding that you can muster. Your life will never be the same again. So many of our dreams at first seem impossible, then they seem improbable, and then when we summon the will, they soon become inevitable. You know, the real secret of happiness is to make others believe that they're the cause of it. Robert Cardoza Live is brought to you by blogtalkradio.com every Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Now, go out and make it a great day. Your host has been Robert Cardoza, the technical advisor, Matchstick Digital, and your executive producer, also Robert Cardoza.